It's Thursday. We're live here on Rewatchers Council, everybody. We're going to be talking Buffy, Season 5, Episode 20, Spoiler. Oh my god, we're already running out of episodes here on the good old Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joined, of course, by our good friend, Brendan Marr. And also this guy, Ferris Mathona. Ferris, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys.
Nice to see you've made it back onto the council. Are you ready to talk? Closing out, nearly closing out, season 5 here on Buffy.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. This was a good episode. I quite enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, this entire season is it's just so strong. There's so many good episodes. Usually, you find maybe a couple of clangers in a season every once in a while. This one really has been strong throughout. We're gonna go into in just a minute. First, say it's as we record this, we can say happy birthday to Emma Caulfield. Uh, I'm not going to say how old she is. Let's just say it's younger than me. That's pretty nice.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, considering I'm so youthful.
I have
Yeah.
You
not,
know what I mean?
I have not met her, but I saw her once.
Oh, that's better than I've ever done. We should say that on Sunday would have been Nicholas Brendan's birthday.
Mm.
A day that I'll always know was Nicholas Brendan's birthday because it was also my birthday coming up this Sunday. All right. The original air date for Spiral, May 8th of the good year 2001. Written by Stephen DeKnight. The last one he did was Blood Ties. Directed by James A. Contner. His last was I Was Made to Love You. Another terrific episode there.
Stephen the
Number one.
Knight, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Peaky Blinders dude, right?
That's Peaky Blinders. Yeah.
Oh, nice, cool. Spartacus.
Yes, Spartacus, of course, as well. Yeah. We prefer to mention the Peaky Blinders part. Now, number one movie in your United States of America, fellas. The Mummy Returns. The Mummy Returns was the
Good
number
movie.
one.
Oh
Good
wow!
movie, Brennan.
Yeah,
One of the better sequels you'll see to any franchise, for sure. The number one songs in both the United States and Canada this week. All for You by Janet Jackson. I've heard that she's also referred to as Miss Jackson if you're nasty, Ferris.
That's what I've heard.
I know nothing.
I'll call her Janet. Now,
Yes.
the number one song in the UK, former Spice Girl, the cover version of It's Raining Men. Jerry Halliwell had the number one.
Jerry Halliwell. Okay.
Ginger Spice. Now, for a quick bonus point, Ferris, can you tell me who sang and then also wrote the original version of It's Raining Men?
Isn't that Diana Ross?
No, wrong.
Oh. Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
it's a very cheesy name. I think it was named because of the song. The band was called the Weather Girls,
Oh.
and the person that wrote it, I believe, Paul Schaefer of Late Night with David Letterman fame.
Oh, him?
What?
Gosh.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he's written a bunch of things. It's crazy. Sorry, let's go on here. DVD synopsis time. Glory realizes Dawn is the key, and Buffy surprises her friends by telling them their best option for staying alive, fellas, is to leave Sunnydale. It's time to hit the bricks. Get the heck out of Sunnydale. So, we're going to start out where it left off previously here. Glory has decided, I'll say very nicely, to do some redecorating over at Will and Terrace, added a little more natural light
Yes.
to the
Yes, she
place
did.
by tearing the wall right off of the dorm room.
More of an open floor plan.
Yeah, it's sad because they did have that nice little patio somehow in their dorm room, and now it's all patio. It seems it's a 100% patio. So Willow manages to keep her at bay here with actually does a little force push here for you, Brennan, to kind of knock Glory off her feet a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
Buff tries to get the heck out of there with Dawn, Glory, of course, though, has super speed, catches up to her, no problem. You guys, go ahead.
Has she used super speed before? I don't remember.
Nope, nope.
Nope.
Does
That's what I
not
thought.
not that we've seen. She is a god, so I
Yeah.
imagine she could use it at any time. Maybe she's just never been in that much of a hurry. It
Mm-hmm.
seems, but she uses it now. One thing we do know is she isn't immune to getting hit by a car,
No, she's
or
not.
because it sends her flying around. So yeah, and so,
Straight Mack truck.
yeah. So
18-wheeler.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a sizable automobile that crushes Glory here, who then we see disappear somehow. Ben shows up wearing all of her clothes. You know, which is odd. It's an odd thing for a man to be doing in the afternoon at
Well, not
Sunnydale.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Not nowadays.
yeah. These days you can do
Ahead of their time.
whatever. Yeah. There's one thing that Buffy the Vampire Slayer did was break down walls. Brought
Yes.
down the barriers, guys. Dawn is now Dawn is now going to tell all the Scoos what happened from her perspective. Buffy, oh, we got to dial this a little back here. Giles is really glad they're safe. Like, honestly, really glad. At least he seems very happy. But Buffy's, of course, going to push back on this, too, reminding him that Glory now knows Dawn's the key. The gig is up as far as keeping her, a little incognito. He suggests going back over that book of TARDIS. Anya suggests dropping a piano on her, a la Bugs Bunny, which is something that isn't done enough in just regular old television.
I know, right?
It shouldn't just be for cartoons anymore, guys.
And apparently, she thinks that Elmer Fudd is the good guy.
Yep, the poor guy with a speech impediment. Buffy says they can't fight her and just wants to run. She's finally getting it now. She's pretty tough. This Glory girl, Xander and Giles question it, but she says if lays it down. We stay, we get killed. That's it. Time to get out of there. They're gonna
It's
leave it right
called
now.
strategic retreat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's a less cowardly way of saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe also a less smart way of saying it. Just say it how it is, guys. Just say
Running away. Let's run away.
yeah. Let's beat it.
Yes.
Now they're gonna leave now. They're just gonna grab whatever supplies they have. Xander's gonna mention a pertinent point. What about transportation here? What about getting some wheels? They're not all gonna fit in the Giles mobile. It's made for the ladies, the Giles mobile, not for actual troop transport.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy said, "Don't worry, she's gonna handle it." You're gonna see Ben get home. There's a different minion there named Gronks, complaining about what happened to poor Glory's outfit. She's played by Lily Knight, who's had roles in that movie Secretary. I don't know if you ever saw that one. AI,
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
right? James
Oh my
Spader, I
word,
believe.
that movie.
Yeah.
AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah.
She's in that one, and that movie, that showed the Dead to Me. She's also in The Rookie and NCIS. All your favorites, probably first.
The rookie, like
Yeah.
with Nathan Fillion.
Sure. Oh, sorry, and I should mention it's not NCIS. It's NCIS Origins.
Yes.
It's the new prequel series to a show that's been going on for 27 years or whatever the hell it is. So anyway,
They made a big decision 2 weeks ago.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, don't spoil it for all the NCISers out there. Now, Gronks is going to coyly bring up that if he noticed the key while he was out and about, he says, "Well, I wouldn't tell you even if I did do it." So she reminds him he exists only because of Glory's greatness. Here, guys. And then, Ben's like, whoa, 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 whoa. He exists because of her failures. It's because of her failures that he's
True.
still around. He wants to be, just a part of the human journey. He wants to be there when they're living. He wants to be there when they're dying. First, which isn't a great thing to say, but I guess if you're a doctor, that's what you sign up for, I suppose. You know, if he was a dentist, that wouldn't be as good, I would imagine as well. He thinks that maybe he can help keep her at bay with drugs, which is always a smart idea. Kids, let this be a lesson for you. Drugs are almost always usually the answer.
Yes.
Just take it from Ben, and he's a doctor. Grons was going to laugh all this off. Ben suggested,
I thought he was a nurse.
I think he's a intern.
I don't know what he is.
He's not. No, I don't think he's a nurse because it's a doctor that fires him when he gets let go, and not a nurse. I think a nurse,
Oh,
the head nurse, has to do that if the nurses do it. So
gotcha.
yeah. So he suggests. Again, Gronk suggests, maybe you can deal with this key first. Then Gronk says, "Well, I don't think you have it in you to kill an innocent human, if it comes down to it."
Mm.
And advising, just accept what's going to happen. Glory's going to come. She's going to use the key. But he's like, no, 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 don't worry. I want to stay alive. He's got that thing in him. This Ben, it
Mm.
turns out, is what he's saying. So we get the gang there, all on the street, waiting for Buffy. She's going to arrive with Spike in a vamp-proofed Winnebago, Ferris.
Brendan, what do you think? You like Winnebagos, Brendan?
I don't know.
What do you think about this Winnebago? Very
It looks very Breaking Bad. Is what it looked like.
yes, I agree. A shittier version of that Winnebago, and that Winnebago was full of crystal meth.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yes.
this one's full of Scoobies, so it's pretty close. So, yeah, she is not going to discuss the entire presence of Spike here with this lot either. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Meanwhile, we see some of those Knights of Byzantium. You can remember those guys from a bunch of episodes back. They've gone by the hospital now in plain clothes to go pick up their brain-dried buddy there, Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to bring him back to the woods. There's the general there. His name's Gregor. He's played by Wade Williams, who was in things like The Dark Knight Rises. He was in Venom, for God's sakes. Though that showed the Mick, the one that Sweet he was on for a little bit or whatever.
Oh
That
yeah. Well, Caitlin Wilson, yeah.
Right. She was on that, I guess, as well. Now, Orlando's going to notice something shiny on the
He's
general.
he's definitely. Hey, I know that guy.
It's exactly what I keep thinking every time I see him. And then
Yeah.
I'll go through like his IMDb's and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know if I know him from there. I think I just know him so well from Buffy that I'm like, oh, okay. Every time I see
Yeah,
him, it's like, oh, yeah.
Like I've seen him. I've seen him play criminals, cops.
Jack.
You name it. I've seen the.
Those dead guys.
Yeah.
So, Orlando notices something shiny on the general's little getup here. And then he's talking about how, they're young, pretty young girl is shiny too. A pretty little shiny key. Like, this guy's a blabbermouth, 100%. So, Gregor now knows that this key is human and gets informed that the Slayer has been protecting the key this whole time. So he tells his troop, that's it, guys. This is
We gotta
ending. This is ending now. We're gonna get the troops out. It turns out he's got a bunch of these troops. All these guys just hanging out in the woods, and nobody's ever noticed all these troops just living there. Anyways,
They're camping, Rob. We're just
Yeah,
camping.
they're larpers. They're larping.
Yes, they're
out in the
larpers.
woods. Yeah. Giles is getting to drive the Winnebago now. They've had enough of Spike, I suppose. No one's sure where they're heading. Xander turns out traveling well, which is a shame. My wife can deal with motion sickness every once in a while. Yet she'll continue just to be on her phone the entire trip. It's like, maybe you just put the phone down for a minute. You start feeling better. But this is in the days before they even had like Snake or something like that on a cell phone, for God's sake. So this is all on him. Anyways, no one's sure where they're going. Xander goes up front with Giles. Questions if Buffy really is thinking clearly about everything. Giles has to remind him that she's been through a lot lately. You're finding out your sister isn't real. She's an actual mystical key. Her mother really dying, all these things. Plus Riley, no one brings up Riley enough anymore these days.
Hmm.
Whatever. Anyways, she just needs to regroup. Then we see Willow going through that book of TARDIS. No luck with this. Anya is up for frying a little spam. A little spam, sausage, baked beans, and spam. Terror then opens blinds enough.
Breakfast of champions.
Yes. Uh, Ever have fried spam, Ferris?
No, I spam got pork in it, so I can't eat it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how much of it is actual pork, but you're right.
What
Not
about you, Brennan? What about you, Brennan? Spam?
I've never had it.
That was
Keep it that way.
in Canada. We had something called Click, which I think was just like a an off-brand kind of spam. I think.
That sounds worse.
Yeah. No, it was all made because that's the extra parts they had in the war. They used up everything during the war, Ferris. You know what I mean?
I
So,
bet.
yeah, Tara opens up the blinds just enough to give Spike a little yelp. Willow's going to apologize for it, but Spike is being pretty cool with it. He's like, yeah, that's fine.
Very understanding.
Yeah. Tara's going to complain that the light's gone. It's all dark. Then we're going to see all the other, glory victims talking about how everything is all dark and it's going to be soon. Minions are, going to do a ritual now and says that the moment is near. They're just going to need to squeeze it until it bleeds. Hate to think of what it is, but also I think we know what it is. You know what I mean? So, back on the bus now. Dawn's going to wake up Buffy. Thanks her for everything, Buffy. Then she's failing because she's running. She's got that bit of a bravado in her. She wants to stand and fight, but something's in her telling her they gotta move. Dawn makes a mistake now, saying that things can't get crazier because just then, Arrow is gonna fly through the cabin, stick it to the wall. This was part of a scene now when the Knights catch up. How slow is this Winnebago going?
I'll be right back, guys.
Sure. How slow can a Winnebago go if a bunch of Knights on horseback not only catch up from it from out of nowhere, but gain on it? Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But anyways, this whole scene was supposed to be much, much, much bigger and culminating in a huge fight with Glory out in the desert. But the guy who created it had to go to Stephen Knight and saying this would cost $5 or $6 million to make, and even Kubrick would take almost a month to do it. So a lot of it gets cut out. They do get to keep this Winnebago scene though, which is really fun. So, yes, they all notice that these Knights are coming now on gaining on the RV. The arrows are flying fast and loose. Buffy has Dawn lie down on the floor. Tara's excited for the horsies. Willow doesn't want any of the horsies hurt. Which is in her way. That's in her nature. Buffy promises not to get any of them hurt, then tells Giles to aim for the horsies, which is one of my favorite scenes in the entire season. Now, we get to see a knight here climbing up on the roof of the thing. Starts jabbing through the top of it with his sword. Spike's going to just grab the sword. You figure the guy pulling up would just be able to slice through his hands, but I guess he has a pretty good grip. Spike. Anyways, Buffy's going to get out. She's going to climb up the thing, fight the knight up there on the roof, eventually kicking him off. As this guy's a human being, you'd figure, Buffy, you better be careful. She's coming close to pushing that line that Slayers aren't supposed to cross. Anyways, two more of them climb up on the roof. Buffy starts fighting them. Seems to have a bit of an easier time with these two. Unarms the second one before knocking him off. Then throws the guy's axe into another guy that's climbing the ladder. Buffy straight up axe kills a man on the Winnebago in this scene. Now, I read somewhere that people said that she hasn't killed humans before. I think she has killed humans before. I believe the Watcher that came in for Faith that had the glove connected to her arm. Buffy ends up killing her. She's still a human being, just had a supernatural glove. And then there's those kids in the in the bar or whatever that Anne was friends with, those guys that all wanted to be vampires. She kind of locked them in. She wasn't directly responsible for their deaths, but you know what I mean. They wouldn't be dead if she would have let them out. Just saying. Anyways, uh, Giles thinks that they may be out of the woods since he doesn't notice any more behind them. And then somehow, again, these guys are in a motor vehicle. There's going to be a knight come up, charging at them, of all things, with a spear. Brennan, a spear.
Mm-hmm.
Throws the spear through the window, gets stuck into Giles's side. It doesn't look like it's right in his guts, but you know what? It's in a spot you don't want to get a spear. I can tell you that. Most any place, I would imagine, you don't want to get speared in. Anyways, Buffy, no, he's gonna, it's the Winnebago's gonna get out of control. Buffy's gonna fall off. The Winnebago's gonna tip over. Now, they're left on their own to find some shelter on foot. They just dump a whole bunch of blankets on Spike. His usual route around here when he's in Sunnydale, it seems. They find an abandoned gas station. Buffy's now panicking. She isn't handling this very coolly. Let's say that. Giles himself is now going south from his little injury. Then a flaming arrow gets shot in. These guys just aren't catching a break. You know what I mean? Then there's a whole bunch more flaming arrows. The Knights are busting their way in. Spike can't fight these guys because of the chip. That's how we know that all these guys are human. That's how we know. Buffy just killed a dude a few minutes before, or a couple hours maybe, but the whole thing is. Now, Gregor enters the place, starts pointing his sword at the key. All dramatic. Buffy's going to disarm him with a mace, of all things. Willow finds a spell now. It's going to create a force field. It's going to give them a little buffer between them and the Knights. The general's stuck with them. The Knights have these weird clerics that show up that we've never seen before. And they're going to say, well, we'll be able to, get this thing out. It shouldn't last too long. Willow thinks it'll last about a half a day or so. They have that long to figure something out. Then she sees these clerics trying some counterspell, and she says, whoa. That's not great. But anyways, they go on. They're going to go question that General Gregor here. Buffy doesn't think too much of him. He, in turn, of course, doesn't seem afraid of her. Very well should. Just as, he's got to get destroyed. This is a easy thing. There's all of humanity on one hand. On the other hand, there's your sister that you've had for 6 months here. All right. Buffy isn't listening to him at all, though. Says he makes no difference if the key is alive. It's Glory's link. It has to be severed. Buffy tells them they aren't the enemy. They're the good guys here. Asks that they all just stand down. Gregor ain't having it. He's refusing. The key can't exist. Pretty staunch. I guess when you have to spend all your time in the woods with a big tunic on and a sword, I guess you're just like, if I have to do all this, better be for a damn good reason. So it better be getting rid of that key for good. Now, Tara's going to start getting a little buggy. It keeps repeating its time. So do all the others that have been at the mental institution. They're saying it's time. They're starting to break free from their straps or whatever, their little tie downs and stuff like that. Orlando's also going to do it, but his buddy that broke him out recognizes that he's going a little loco here. So he just knifes him. He knifes his friend in the heart. It's like, I'm sorry, my brother. Knife you in the heart. Pretty rude. He doesn't want to see him help Glory. So he demands that the force field get taken out, and they got to get their general out of there. Buffy's going to apologize for Giles for running. He says, you're second guessing yourself. He says it's unnecessary. And he says that she placed her heart first, Brennan, and it's something he's always admired. We find out, and that he's proud of her, which is always something nice to say and stuff like that. Maybe you should say this a little more often. But he says she's also everything he ever could have hoped for. I don't know about that. I think that he would have really liked to have had a more traditional style Slayer. You know what I mean? I think he's happy with how Buffy's turned out and stuff like that. But knowing Giles, I think he would have much rather had a Slayer that wasn't as headstrong. Let's just say that. Now, he's going to pass out. Buffy says to Willow, go open a door. And then she asks Knifey Guy to let someone help Giles. He seems unconcerned. He's like, no. We're just going to kill you. Xander mentions that war has rules. Also, they have their general. You know what I mean? Willow now says a spell to get some electricity and a phone working. There's a spell for everything, it seems, these days in that book. The problem is, they get called for a doctor. The only doctor she knows, Brennan, is Ben.
Yeah.
Not terrific. Not terrific maybe to be in a tight space with him. So he gets there. He says he's surprised by the costume party. Of course, he's going to know exactly who all of these folks are. And he says he hasn't, he's glad to have an excuse to see her. She had cut things off with him the last time by phone, which is never cool. But anyways, Spike is going to find all this rather displeasing to listen to. Then Ben's going to notice Dawn. And it took a little bit. Now, he tells Buffy that Giles needs actual medical care. She counters, we have all these guys out here making it a little difficult to do that. Lets him know that if things are too weird, just let her know. If things are too weird for Ben, just let her know. He tells her he knows weird and won't leave until his welcome is well worn out, which is a gentlemanly thing to do. Xander, speaking of gentlemanly things, Xander lights Spike's smoke.
Mm-hmm.
This is a show, famously, every character, except for, I guess, Spike, hates smoking. Everybody hates it. This is maybe the nicest thing we've ever seen Xander do for Spike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going through my head real quick if we see him ever be this nice to him again. It's just you have a lighter. He's doing it from the whole bartender days or whatever from Beer Bad. Maybe it's just reactionary now. See someone that's smoking, wants someone to talk to him about it. Anyways, he warns him that smoking kills, which is a classic vampire joke. But it's also a good lesson to everybody out there. Quit smoking. You'll feel better for it. So they're going to discuss strategy. Spike wants to use the general as a human shield to get to Ben's car. And the whole thing is, though, as Xander correctly argues, that Spike has a little bit of ineffectiveness when it comes to fighting humans. So what is he going to do with a human shield, for God's sakes? And worries about all the survival rates of the folks inside. Buffy walks in, has a renewed sense of courage. Says no one's dying here. The general puts in his 2 cents. Gets backhanded. He gets pimp slapped by Buffy, which is fantastic. It's about time she did it. So he then gives her Glory's backstory, how she ruled with 2 other hell gods until they were so put off by her lust for pain and misery, 2 hell gods, that they became frightened of her. So before they let Glory just take over the entire spot, they battled, eventually eke out a win over her and cast her out. She's forced to live in a mortal body to die, the body of a newborn male, it turns out. You know what I mean? But in an Uno-style reverse, she also had no idea who the male was. So, there you go. Well, she eventually figures it out, and then, doesn't she? She's grown strong enough now to escape her prison from time to time. That's why they've seen her. Dawn asks about herself. Dawn is just mentioning that she's the key to everybody. It seems ever since she found out. She wants to know what about me here, guys. Like what am I gonna do? He says they know that the key is almost as ancient as glory is, and that its pain is absolute. For God's sake, many knights have died trying to destroy this thing. The monks that hit it were fools hoping to use it for good, and died accordingly. She was born to open gates between dimensions, allowing Gloria the chance to seize control of her hellish home. Buffy laughs off this plan before she's told that all dimensional gates are going to open. No, no, no. Not just hers. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Each hell dimension is going to bleed onto the dimension next to it. Everything is going to become darkness forever. Glory getting back into her dimension is going to be the end, not just of Earth, but of existence, for God's sake. So, after this uplifting little chat they have, Buffy has to once again reassure Dawn, you're not this evil thing. You know, Dawn knows it's inside of her. And, you know, what's inside of someone is really what counts. If I've learned anything from after school specials growing up. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
Buffy promises not to let anything happen to her yet again. Then helps Will try and feed. The general's going to take this chance to speak with Ben. He's like, "Hey, pal, you know, he wants to confirm that he's not involved at all." Ben says, "Oh no, I'm just a friend of these guys." Gregor's going to say if he's friendly enough to just die with these people. Everyone else he knows is going to die too. But not if he stops it. All you got to do, just let Gregor loose. He's going to destroy the key. Everybody's happy. You know what I mean? Maybe not Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Buffy and her friends. But everybody else in the world and all these subsequent other dimensions would be pretty happy about all this. This misery is going to stop. Then he just goes back to Ben's, whatever. He's just gonna go back to the suffering little Giles. Dawn says everything is happening because of her. You know, he says it isn't her fault. You see Ben then loading up a syringe. So this can't be good. It just sometimes bad things happen to good people, which is true. The way life is. Then injects Giles. Oh, thank goodness.
Yo, what a
Like a little turn.
yeah, a nice little turn. Shout out to the director and Steve DeKnight. That was good.
Yeah. So, Ben then starts acting a little bit funny. A little bit squirrely. It seems he yells at them that they have to let him out. Like this is it. Like it's like he's got to get the heck out of there. He's bugging. Buffy tells Willow to open the door, but it's too late. Ben disappears, and now Glory's there, and she's wearing the same outfit he was wearing.
Mm.
She compliments Ben for finally doing something right, then throws a hubcap into Gregor's chest, which is also awesome. Those are two objects into people in this episode. It's a object heavy.
Yo, was that a hubcap or was that a rim?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was a hubcap. If it was a rim, it would have been,
Yeah.
the whole thing in it.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a large, sharp. It looks like frisbee that goes right into him. Spike attacks, of course. He gets knocked away. Buffy attacks. She's going to get knocked into Willow. They're both going to go down. She grabs Dawn away from Anya, which takes nothing. Force field is going to stop her, once, but then not that second time. He only can stop Glory for a brief second. And then she gets out. It closes up before Buffy can get out. Willow finally drops it, but the damage is done. Glory remembered about all that speed she has. And it seems they're gone. Every knight there is dead, except that knifey guy. Who stayed alive long enough just to say, the beast. We know. Spike goes to get Ben's car. Once again, Buffy is sat down. She is emotionally and physically, it seems, done. She is done. So, next time, Willow has to, find her inner Vulcan. Right, Brendan? Maybe a little mind melding going on. Looks like things could be better. And with the episode titled The Weight of the World, maybe there's some weight to Buffy's shoulders here, but we'll talk about that all next time as we get to the penultimate episode here in season 5, and it was fantastic talking about this episode with you guys. While you're here, let's start with you, Brendan. Why don't you tell us what's up with you here on the good old internet?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky, Brendan at bluesky.social, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. That Page Turners, they were not.
Fantastic. Thanks, buddy. We got Fair Smooth with us. Why don't you say what's up here on our good old Let's Get Ready Network?
Today, 4 o'clock on our sister channel, our sports channel, me and Ryan will be doing our Masters first round recap. And then tomorrow we'll be doing the same thing, 4 o'clock Pacific as well. But also tomorrow I'll be also on same thing, our sports channel. Our good friends, Better Rivals. Me and Caleb talk NFC East, American football. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Draft, trades. We'll talk about it all.
Talk about the future and Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I don't know how far in the future we're talking about. We could be, once again, decades and decades away. Okay. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. I believe Brendan will as well. Be talking a little Angel here on Rewatchers Council over the rainbow as we head into the deep into the Pylea arc. Can't wait to talk about that. We got starting 11 coming back on Tuesday. Finally got some English Premier League to talk about after an international break and FA Cup quarters and stuff and semis to talk about. So it'll be a lot of fun talking European football on Tuesday. And then we got I think a week from tomorrow we'll be talking a little hockey. We got the post credits coming back, or sorry, the post whistle coming back. Ryan and I, well, with I believe a deal, you're going to be setting up the Stanley Cup playoffs. Playoff beers about to begin here in the end of the 25-26 season. Doesn't look like the Jets are going to make it, and I'm damn sure the Seattle Kraken aren't going to make it. So
Big news out of Seattle.
Yes, Ferris gets his wish. They're going to have someone new run this team, someone who screwed up their entry draft so bad that they're in the pickle that they are in right now. That's why not all players should run franchises. Let's just remember that, guys, as we say goodbye to you.
Not everybody's Jerry West.
We're going to say goodbye to you for this week's Buffy episode of Rewatchers Cancel. Thank you all for joining us. And in the words of General Gregor, hope you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.